What is happening? Welcome to PitchCon 2021. I'm so excited that we can do this again. This is amazing. It's been a week. We have, of course, the Pitcher List launch of 6.0 2 days ago. I hope you're enjoying it with the new player pages, PL Plus editions, the new leaderboard, and of course, I hope you've had a chance to listen to our amazing podcast now on the Pitcher List Podcast Network. There are 20 shows. It's ridiculous, but that's not why we're here today. Because I am so excited that I get to kick off this event for the second straight year. Hold your applause. Thank you until the end. But this should be a very, very special weekend as we do PitchCon 2021. For those that are unfamiliar with PitchCon, we're about to begin 11 hours live stream today and then again for the next 3 straight days. So Thursday through Sunday, that's 45 hours because you had an extra hour on Sunday, where we're going to have baseball presentations and industry panels while raising money for a fantastic cause in Feeding America. We have a goal of $10,000 this year, half of which goes straight to Feeding America. It's a fantastic organization helping feed hundreds of thousands of people across the country. So we hope that you can contribute to PitchCon. Do so at the link below here, go.rallyup.com/PitchCon. So once again, we're also giving away dozens of prizes for free during the event. So sign up with a Google form inside of this link. You just got to fill it out, select what prizes you want, put in your email, etc. And you can win a drawing from Ellen Adair of your favorite baseball player, a box of beer curated by Enosaurus, lots of fantasy help for your teams, so many subscriptions to so many fantastic sites, Pitcher List merch. You can win a lifetime subscription to PL Plus. We only offer it at PitchCon, and that's if we reach that $10,000 goal. So I really hope you can help us get there. It's for a fantastic cause, and we want to give away all those prizes. So please, please go to that link below and help if you can. But hey, you don't have to. You can just watch this for free. Only those that can do so, please go and do that. We also have some merch on our store. So go to pitchlist.com/store. We have some wonderful things like this PitchCon mug. Just makes everything absolutely delicious. So definitely go to pitchlist.com/store. Go to that. I'm sure you'll find something that you like. But as we continue this event through the entire weekend, please leave your comments along the way. You can do so here on twitch.tv/pitchlist, where we'll be streaming it all the way through. We'll also be doing it here on Twitter. The current Periscope link that you could be watching right now is going to be live throughout the entire day. No switch over like last year. You can just stick right at this link. So please do so. Watch it. Enjoy it. It's a snow day here in Brooklyn right now. So this is the perfect thing to be cozy. Have this on the screen. Do whatever Zoom meetings you need to do. And just enjoy this baseball content for the entire weekend. We're going to have Q&As, by the way, at the end of every single presentation and panel. So if you ask questions in the comments, I will be answering them at the very end. So yeah, they might not do it right away, but your questions will get answered. And lastly, before I continue, I just want to give a massive shout out to everyone that is participating in this. Thank you so much. It is not easy to organize something like this. It shouldn't be, but it was, because we have over 80 people involved with this, and everyone was just so flexible and supportive of this. Scheduling this seems like a massive headache, but when everyone says, yeah, sure, I can just pretty much do any time, it makes it incredibly easy to put together. And this thing doesn't exist without so many smart people wanting to help this cause. So thank you so much, everyone involved here. It's going to be such a fantastic event. We have so many amazing presentations and panels ahead, and it's not just fantasy baseball, so many just baseball discussions. We have what it's like being a part of an R&D team in a baseball organization. What? That's crazy. A panel talking about how to create projection systems. We have discussion of making a great podcast and inclusivity in baseball and what it's like being a credentialed journalist. And of course, Alex Fast is going to give his breakdown on how to make those amazing overlay GIFs. There's so much amazing stuff ahead. I can't wait. I really can't. So go to the link below, go.rallyup.com/PitchCon. Support what we're doing here. Support raising money for Feeding America. And sit back and enjoy. You're going to see the full schedule there. All the prizes listed out inside of that in that link as well. But that's it for right now. That's it from me. I have my presentation at noon that I am incredibly nervous for. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but whatever. I'm going to do it. In the meantime, I have an incredible staff here, Pitchless managers, that are going to be doing an opening panel for you talking about fantasy baseball. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're amazing people. And that's all that matters. So really, thank you so much for being here at PitchCon. I hope you enjoy the next 4 days. I know I will. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's talk about some baseball, huh? So first, I'm going to bring in Miles Nelson. Miles, welcome to the event. Welcome to PitchCon.
I'm here. I made it. I'm so happy to be here. It's not snowing outside, but I'm still feeling very cozy here with you.
That's good.
And your mug. That mug, I need one because this water just tastes pretty boring.
You do. You certainly do. It makes my coffee way better. But Miles is the manager of our We Love Baseball team. He's done an incredible job. He's also led the wacky leagues every single year. We did a blind co-manager draft last week. I cannot wait for that one. If you don't know what that is, stick around for Miles' presentation on it. I believe that's tomorrow night.
Saturday.
Right? Or Saturday night.
One of the days.
Yeah, right. Tonight we have the graphics draw off, which is essentially our great British Bake Off, but with our graphics team. This is so ridiculous and amazing. Okay. But I can't wait for that. And I'm excited to
see this
panel ahead.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Next up is Daniel Port. Daniel, great to have you here, man.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Is it snowing where you are? You're off in Colorado.
Yeah, it just stopped. It was snowing all last night.
Okay. Well, Daniel Port is our community manager of our Discord. We actually have a new moderator team as well, and he's doing an incredible job improving our Discord and just making it just even a better community. So I'm excited. Daniel, you actually did a live stream on Saturday. Tell us about that.
So we ended up this past year, Mark McElroy and a couple of us, about 12 of us, put together our first Otnu League. And we thought it'd be fun to try and get some exposure to the format by, kind of talking about it all season, being via live cast. We live cast the draft, and then we kind of published articles throughout the whole first season. And so we just went through the crazy off season. If you're unfamiliar with it, go watch the cast because we talk about it. There's arbitration and cuts and cap you have to worry about, all these things. So we thought it'd be fun to do sort of a recap show. And lo and behold, once I mentioned this, the founder of Otnu, Niv, and Chad, who writes for us, and then also Justin Vibber, who they have their own Otnu podcast. They're huge in the whole scene, and it came on the show and actually talked about Otnu. Niv talked about founding it and sort of walked us through the rules and how that was designed and what the purpose of it was and what they wanted to go for, which was an incredible experience. And then Justin, Chad came in and actually walked us through a lot of strategy and a lot of different thought process and how complex yet easy to get into the whole thing was. And it was just an incredible experience. I learned so much. I got to absorb so much from them. It was just a really cool thing.
Yeah, that was a fantastic stream you did on Saturday. Guys, you can check it out in the Twitch VODs, I believe, or the videos from before. It's still there. You can definitely go watch that one. We also have Mark McElroy doing an Otnu presentation with Niv and Justin as well on Saturday, I believe. So definitely tune in for that if you're into it. But yeah, great job with that. We're excited that you're here, Daniel.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Next up is Austin Bristow. What's going on?
Good morning, gentlemen, and good morning to everyone watching.
You might recognize that voice. It is the NPR voice of On the List, as Austin interviews everybody from the Pitcher List staff and hears their story and what they're doing, of course, here at Pitcher List. And Austin, are you excited to get PitchCon going?
Oh man, it's going to be a great time. It's not snowing here in North Carolina, but boy, oh boy, do we have lots and lots of ice coming down. So
this is what everyone's going to do today. They're just going to come on and say is it snowing or not? I don't know. Maybe.
I also don't have a PitchCon mug, but I do have a homemade smoothie by my lovely wife.
Oh, well, there you go. That sounds great. And last but certainly not least is Dave Sherman. Dave, good to have you here, man.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's Dave Sherman. I believe you came on in 2017 doing the Catcher streaming articles. And of course, now you are the head of our ATS team across the seams, doing some amazing work. I believe your CBA articles were just, I love that stuff. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And yeah, I'm just so happy that you're here, man.
Yes, I've been around for going on 4 years now, which is absolutely insane. This year, I'll be launching a new podcast with Daniel McDonald, the Across the Seams podcast, where we talk about some of the higher level things in baseball and everything that's a little less granular on the day-to-day level and things that I think that we don't hear about enough. So I'm really excited to get into that and to also talk with the rest of the amazing people on here today. I used to live out in Denver, so I miss Daniel Port a lot, and it is wonderful to see his face. And always great to hear Austin and Miles. You guys are just great people, and I'm excited to kick off this event with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to let you guys do your thing. Thanks a lot for being here. And yeah, looking forward to this roundtable.
Yeah, get that Nick guy out of here.
Yeah.
Who wants that guy?
Not a fan.
By the way, Yancey, that is attorney at law Dave Sherman. Definitely want to shout that out because this is, I believe, the first public appearance we're seeing of you, Dave, since that happened. So congratulations, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it is actually attorney at law. If you get that wrong again, Yancey, you go to jail. So careful.
It's a good start, boys.
Oh man, yeah. All right, we're off to a good roll here. So yeah, congratulations, Dave. Obviously, that's an incredible achievement, and I do miss you as well. I was looking forward to getting to go to baseball games and all that again this year, but I'll have to come out to New York. So welcome everybody. Thanks for coming out and joining us. And for PitchCon, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be very, very exciting. We've tons of stuff in store for you over the next 4 days. And, to kind of kick things off, though, I just wanted to kind of talk, these are four of us who are really, have been around, have been throughout everything going on in, the pitcher list world and some of the baseball world. So guys, just kind of talk over the last year, especially since it's been such a weird year. How different are things feeling since we last were here, doing this roundtable a little under a year ago?
I mean, for me, a lot more optimistic. When we were doing this roundtable last year, we didn't know if there was going to be baseball. At PitchCon last year was about the end of May. I don't know exactly where we were in the whole, Major League Baseball hates its players. The players just want to, get paid what they have already signed up for kind of thing. I don't know where we were in that whole saga, but we definitely weren't at, hey, games are happening, because that happened like 2 weeks before the season started. So we're full on like, who knows what's going to happen? Let's just have a fun time here, right? Let's pretend none of that's happening. And now we at least know there's going to be baseball happening this year. To what extent, we still don't know, but at least we know there will be baseball. So I feel a little happier right now than I think we did at the beginning of the first PitchCon.
Absolutely.
I would echo that. Just to respond, Juan Godo, you can check out pitcherlist.com/PitchCon and see the full schedule to see when Alex Fast comes on. We try and keep him away as long as we can. But definitely check out the full schedule. It definitely feels a little different. Like you said, we have more certainty. We also have more clarity on what the baseball will look like. There was so much speculation going into 2020. I remember that being a hot topic at 2019's First Pitch Arizona, what the baseball was going to look like and how that was going to impact 2020. And now Major League Baseball is finally coming forward about what the baseball will look like. And we can do some initial work to project what that will look like moving forward.
The incredible thing about that is you literally mean the equipment that the players use to play. The core piece of equipment. We're not talking about like rule changes. Like we're literally talking about the ball itself, and just the fact that like baseball. I don't know, man. I think it's great. Everyone can whine about projections and how it affects them all they want. I think it's fantastic that the game inherently changes every single year.
I was actually just talking about this.
In other news, Miles Nelson likes to see the world burn.
100%.
See, and I'm with Miles on this. I think it's a really cool. I love, first off, seeing baseball continually evolve, and especially all the work with science and technology and things like that in it. But I'll just talk about this actually on episode 1 of our podcast we just put out. I'll talk about it later, the podcast itself, but we were just talking about actually how interesting that is with the ball changing and things like that, that it feels like baseball kind of tweaking itself to say, what's the perfect balance of hitting and pitching? How do we keep everyone happy? It's a really kind of interesting process to see that I don't think we 10 years ago, even if they were tweaking the ball, would have been privy to. So it's a really cool evolution of how we talk about the game and view it. Austin, I didn't know if you had any thoughts on where we come in a year or so.
Yeah, I mean, we've come off of a very strange 60-game season. The Dodgers finally pulled off their victory. Congratulations, Miles. But at the same time, there's still a fair amount of uncertainty here and there. We don't for sure know whether or not the National League will be using a designated hitter. We think they won't.
Well,
but
we know for this year that they won't, but we don't know for future years yet, right?
Yeah, I think that is true. As an Atlanta Braves fan, I sure want them to bring it back because I don't love Marcell Ozuna in left field. So yeah, I think there's still so much that we can speculate about, but far less than when we were here during this roundtable last year.
Absolutely. And, I think for me, on my part, I had this weird process over the year that I think I got so bogged down over the past couple of years of looking at the stats and the analytics and, just getting in this like place where it's all numbers and stuff like that. And this year was like the year I think it hit me the first time someone got like tested positive for COVID. And you hear about like, I think it was Eduardo Rodriguez and his heart issues from there and things like that like, this became like my year of being like, these are people again, and remembering how that affects the game and how we can sometimes as fans and as analysts lose sight of that. So that was like my big, like year-long odyssey in my brain and in my heart was just kind of being like, these are people and they're going through the same things we are. And I don't know, I kind of came full circle on that. I'm now back to being excited for the season now that we kind of came out of it with, pretty well unscathed for the most part. So that was kind of my place where I'm coming to here a year later, but to kind of keep things moving in that direction from, let's get into PitchCon itself and looking at sort of some of the upcoming things that are that we're coming up over the next 4 days, looking at some of the panels, some of the discussions going on. What if you have an overall thought on the the 4 days that we're kind of anything you're seeing, anything that really stands out to you? And then are there any panels that really seem to excite you that you're really, really looking forward to coming up?
I know that on the last day on Sunday, I'll definitely be tuning in at 7 p.m. When Michael Ahedo comes on for his top 100 starting pitchers. Not only is he very, very smart when it comes to analyzing pitchers, but he's just a hoot and a half. So I'm very excited for that. Not at all excited for tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. I would recommend everyone just skip that, log on at noon. Don't worry about what's going on at 11 tomorrow.
I think one's going to be great, Austin.
I actually was going to say I am looking forward to the one at 11 tomorrow because when you first introduced stolen bases, opportunities taken, and I feel like I've mispronounced the acronym every single which way I could in that time, but I really thought it was a really interesting thing and something that I think one thing that we kind of maybe not lose sight of, but there's a lot of things throughout analyzing fantasy baseball that we're just missing one last piece, right? Or we're missing whatever the next step is, right? And we're working on that. And I think stolen bases, opportunities taken is that kind of next step because maybe there is a player that changing teams means he's going to run more or run less, or maybe he has the same number of stolen bases this year versus last year, but if he's running 25%, fewer times, then that's all dependent on his on base percentage, right? Like if you get on base more, you can have an opportunity to steal more bases. But if you suddenly get on base less and you're running less, that's a huge change in value. So it's just those kinds of things that I feel like help us evaluate stolen bases in a much more, I educated way than things like sprint speed and just pure, stolen base numbers, caught stealing percentages. Those are good tools, but I feel like usage here basically is kind of what you're looking at. That's a very important part of the process as well.
Yeah.
Well,
That's it's gonna be fun.
Well, in Austin, obviously we don't want to give away too much for it. We have stuff to look forward to for it, but I also just want to say, I know you don't always get the behind the scenes part of it, but how do you say it? How do you like to pronounce it?
I've most people want to say S-bot. I prefer spot.
Like a dog.
I think that works better. Like see spot run.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that works. I love it. But I know, Austin, that's been a bit of a many years process for you, and so it's really something to see it come to fruition and really feel like you've got that down. It's just we're obviously all very proud of you for knocking that out, and it's very impressive to see you do. So I just want to give you that shout out. That's going to be very exciting. Anyone else looking up forward to anything else we got going on?
Yeah, I mean, just to echo that, I think spot is ever important in a time when steals continue to decline across baseball. So being able to capitalize on that category that is one of Nick Pollock's favorite fantasy categories of all time is very, very important. For those who don't know, Nick Pollock wants to eliminate steals and saves from all fantasy leagues because he hates fun. But another panel I'm really looking forward to is Saturday at 5:00, Chelsea Ladd's presentation on independent leagues. I feel like over the last few years, interest has grown in minor league baseball. So we've seen interest grow from Major League Baseball to minor league baseball, and it's really created an opportunity to market more leagues and more players, even at a time when the minor leagues are shrinking. We should take the time to look at independent leagues as a way to continue to grow the game in these markets that just lost baseball. And there's so many players who are trying to achieve their dreams. How can we try and pay attention to more things going on in baseball? So I'm really excited to see what Chelsea has to say.
No, and I couldn't agree more. That was actually one of the ones that caught my eye, because I feel like we had this initial fear, this trepidation when it was announced that we were cutting some of the minor leagues, that there were going to be areas of, you saw maps where there were like entire areas of the country that weren't going to have baseball. And I think I went last year to just before last season started, before the pandemic and everything happened. We went to my girlfriend and I, we drove all the way down to Albuquerque for the last Rockies sort of spring training game. They do this thing where they drive over to Albuquerque, play at the Isotopes, and then everyone stays at the trip because it's their AAA affiliate. And everyone stays there, that's staying there, and then the team comes home, right? And so we drove down there and went down there. And the most interesting thing was, there were more Isotopes fans in the stands than there were Rockies fans. And that's not a diss on Rockies fans at all. They're a great fan base. It was meant to say that like Albuquerque really cared about the Isotopes. Yeah. And at first you're kind of like, yeah, but it's fairly meaningless baseball. And then it tells you they just like baseball, right? And they like this team that comes to represent their hometown and, all of these things. And I think that it's really important that while I think there were a lot of good logistical reasons and business reasons for shrinking the minor leagues and making them more centrally located to the teams they represent, and all of those things that Rob Manfred is doing, I was really worried about that part of baseball, because then that just shrinks the sport and people get into the sport. And now this leads to something where I'm hoping that we'll learn during Chelsea's presentations that's not going to be the case, and that's really exciting for me. So I was very excited to see that, and I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
As the only one on this panel that isn't living in a town that has their own major league team, I know the Greensboro Grasshoppers. They're a lot. Yeah, or two. The Greensboro Grasshoppers are a lot of fun to go to, or driving over to Durham to see a Durham Bulls game. I'm kind of spoiled in North Carolina because there's so many minor league teams here. Even after a few have been unfortunately purged, I still have a ton of options to go to, and so minor league baseball is a big part of just North Carolina in general as far as baseball goes. I mean, I have to drive 5 hours either to get to Atlanta or to Baltimore to go to the nearest major league game. So it's nice to be able to just drive 15 minutes downtown to see a Grasshoppers game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe we heard from Austin and Dave Miles. Did you have one that you particularly stood out to?
I have so many. Many. That's the problem. Is like,
let's do it.
How do I pull this list down into like a reasonable amount? And I don't think I'm going to. First of all, I just want to say, there's no excuse if you watch PitchCon and are here for it to not win your fantasy league, because there's like a million panels and presentations about how to dominate your draft. I mean, today at 1:00, we've got sleepers and busts for 2021. We have navigating your 21 snake draft. We've got like Sunday is like there's like 9 different pitcher and from different angles too, right? We have deep starting pitcher targets with Jeff Zimmerman. We have starting pitcher options throughout your draft, a Hedo's top 100. Basically, I'm going to be sitting here taking notes just throughout the entire time, and I'm going to be so ready for my drafts. I've held off all of my drafts until after this, because I'm making sure, even if you want to talk about auctions, we've got auction strategies on Saturday. I mean, if you want to win your draft, we have literally all the information here, and you're going to see it in ways no one else will, because people aren't going to be here live all the time. You're going to get that inside info that not everyone's going to get. So 100%, I definitely want to be here for all that stuff. And then as the We Love Baseball manager, I have to watch pitchers reacting to various stuff. I have to watch Shagging Flies with Ben Palmer, Zach Hayes, and Jake Steely, the great graphics drop. Like, that's just today. There's so many panels that are just about the love of baseball and like just fun things. Happy Hour with Eno Saris. Like, I want to be here for all that stuff. So whether you're into the stats and analytics side of things and like expanding your knowledge and repertoire there, or whether you're into just having a good time and like your idea of a good day of baseball is a beer, a hot dog, $30 no longer in your pocket because you bought said beer and hot dog and a baseball game. That's you have it all. It's all here, man.
If there's something that I'm noticing that's a little bit different, also, Miles, cute to think you can get a ticket, a beer, and a hot dog for $30.
Oh, that does not include the ticket. That was just the beer and the hot dog.
There's something I'm noticing that's a little bit different about this PitchCon compared to last one. Is I'm seeing a lot more collaboration in panels. Last year we had a lot of solo presentations and they were all fantastic and it was really great to see. But we are able to include so many more people because of the collaboration that's involved. I mean, you look at the potential 2021 fantasy breakouts panel, we've got Casey Bubba, Scott Pianowski, Drew Silva, Max Greenfield, and Jason Collette all talking on this panel together. If you look at Saturday, the first half of the day is pretty much all collaboration panels. Day 4, we have 5 straight panels with at least 3 people talking together. There's so many great minds working together. And I think that was another theme of 2020. People really started building out their podcasts, and it was people collaborating on other people's podcasts. I was seeing so many different people popping up on 6, 7 different podcasts as guest appearances. And it's really fostered the community of collaboration that I love so much about the fantasy baseball community we have. Everyone wants to help each other. Everyone wants to work together to increase the knowledge and the community that we have. It's just fantastic.
And not only are all these people working together this weekend, but holy mackerel, do we have so many really, really smart people that know what they're talking about, which has me very nervous for my presentation tomorrow, because like we'll have a full day of smart people already talking about baseball, and then it's just like, okay, hey guys, let's talk about some stolen bases.
Why do you think the 3 of us have solo presentations and aren't on panels? Because then I don't have to compete with like Vlad Sedler and Scott Jenstad and Frank Stamfel and Al Melchior for like, yeah, hey, here's some other smart things I can say. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from anyone of us here at Pitcher List, because we have some really smart people. Just the 4 of them aren't in this panel right now.
Yeah,
exactly. No. Yeah,
well, 3. One of us is an attorney, so the 3 of us, I guess.
I couldn't get. I don't think I would have been able to get. So I'm talking about economics. Like I picked like the least sexy like subject matter possible. So it's not like someone's gonna be
Hope
like,
that
yes, that's the
Alexander
panel I want to be
is
on.
so happy that you're talking about economics. I promise you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, and I think that one of the cool things to see this year, we saw this last year too, but I think it's even gotten bigger, is that one of the things I remember from being younger and coming into both loving sports and also coming in from there to, growing as I learned more and more about math and science and things I probably neglected when I was younger, frankly. In fact, absolutely neglected when I was younger. And when part of that stemmed from this idea that I didn't know the whole picture, and some of that, so much has changed since I was in college, 20 something years ago. No, 15 years ago. And that, like, to see all of these things, if you were to sit here and watch every panel through here, you would see so many different things, whether it's fantasy baseball. There's a panel about talking about how to create stats and things like that. There's talks about developing hitters through advanced statistics. There's seam shifted wake. There's all these different things, and then there's also just about like the culture of baseball, and there's also about all these different things that suddenly, if you were to look and watch this, you'd be like, there are about 15 different ways I could get into baseball. I mean, look at this room right now. Actually, if I remember correctly, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dave and Austin, I don't know about Miles, but we're all theater kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all old theater kids,
Yeah.
we moved into now we find ourselves doing baseball, and that's something
I'll exit stage left.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Nice. Heavens to Murgatroyd. There's a thing where that's just something that didn't exist when I was younger, and then I love sports, and I hope, if nothing else, you walk away from this being able to come in and say, I could be in baseball no matter what walk of life you come from.
Yeah.
No matter where your expertise is or in your thought process. We're seeing physics and math and management and business and all of these different, like, the whole world could be in baseball. And so it's something I really love about, and I love seeing it represented through this.
100%. 100%. Also, by the way, all of you guys watching on Twitch and Periscope, we would love to hear which presentations you're most looking forward to as well. So definitely leave those in the chat, because we mentioned, between the four of us, we must have mentioned 15 panels, and that's like a third of the whole thing. So absolutely would want to know what you guys are all looking forward to.
Yeah, it's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
And they kind of look at it from here. So I guess the question kind of to go into from here is, I'm seeing in the chat, some of the things people are talking about, Chris Reeves, is talking about the blind draft. And I know, Miles, that's one of your brainchilds.
He just wants to know who his partner is.
Oh, there you go.
None of the people who have participated in the blind draft, and I guess I just gave away one of the people on the PL Plus side, but none of the people who have participated in the blind draft know who their partner is. And most of them are badgering me, trying to get the information out of me, and I won't give it to them. I will absolutely not falter. You will have to wait till Saturday, 9:00 Eastern, to find out who your partner is.
So good.
That's,
maybe help build some of that excitement. Miles, can you talk about your favorite moments from last year's blind draft, if you have any?
My goodness. Yeah. There's one that will always stand out in my mind. And that is when, okay. So just real quick, blind draft. We have two rooms of people drafting for the same team. So there's a room of people drafting in the odd rounds, a room of people drafting the even rounds. They're all partnered up. They have no clue who their partner is. They have no way to communicate with each other. You basically are getting auto picked for half your draft, right? So if you come into your draft thinking, hey, I'm the guy, I've got all these great catcher targets late, I'm going to wait on catcher, and then your partner picks JT Realmuto in the fourth, that's just what happened. Sorry, you got to deal with it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Luke Voigt, AL MVP candidate Luke Voigt, which we didn't, at this time last year, we're talking, hey, he's a cool breakout pick in like the 14th round. He gets picked, and one of the managers absolutely loses it. Like, goes on a 10-message tirade of like, we already have 2 first basemen. I hate Luke Voigt. He's not good at all. Why did we pick him? We need pitching. Just like lost it. It was the best thing. He was like, can I undo the pick? Can I get a new partner? and just could not be talked down for it. It was one of the greatest things. And then the fact that Voigt goes on to have the season that he has and be, in the running for AL MVP was just absolutely hysterical. There were so many moments like that of just someone making a pick. Someone picked Jose Leclerc, and Trevor Huth immediately writes in the chat, "Hey, when it says Jose Leclerc, does that mean that they picked Rangers pitcher Jose Leclerc and that's for my team? I just want to make sure I'm reading this right." And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, yeah, cool. That's what I wanted to do here. I like Jose Leclerc, I guess now." And we're like, "Yeah, man." So we have. Here's the thing, though. This year we did a live draft, so I have footage. I have 5 hours of footage that we were combing through to bring you all the best moments from this year's, and we have at least one moment that tops anything that happened last year. So I cannot wait. I cannot wait to show it all on Saturday.
Well, and I think what's really fascinating about what Miles has done in the last couple of years. I mean, not just with just to give him a bit of a shout out. Throughout the last couple of years, he's really debuted a couple of really unique ways of looking at fantasy and doing fantasy beyond even just the blind draft, which is, I did that last year and it was one of the most fun things I've done in a long time in fantasy. But he does the Grand Theft leagues where you get to steal a player if you win for your week at the end of the week. He does remind me of the other one.
We do Worst Ball, where we celebrate all of baseball, not just the good things. We have Guillotine League, which if you come in last place, you just get eliminated from the league altogether. All your players get dropped. Sorry if that is in April, and it's like, well, there's one less team I have to worry about now, I guess. We have a lot of great opportunities. I will be talking about those as well on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to join, you want to be a part of it, you got to be in the Pitcher List Discord, pitcherlist.com/plus. Little plug there. Been practicing that. So yeah,
nicely
absolutely. I'm super looking forward to it.
Us all the time if you do that, which may be a positive, may be a negative.
And I will say, coming out through it, for PL Plus and the things that we're doing there, just give that a shout out. Obviously, yeah, you can participate in any of those leagues. You can participate in any of we have staff and leagues where they're just more straightforward leagues where the staff and our PL Plus members sort of mingle and go against each other. We also are trying to we've got a lot, as Nick mentioned, I do run the Discord and have now a staff of moderators to help me with stuff. And we've got a lot of fun things coming out throughout the year. We've been kind of having meetings and trying to figure out what we can make happen to enhance, the experience through PL Plus with watch parties. And, we did a Family Feud game last year that we're going to bring back for everybody, do stuff like that. So it's really a great experience, but if nothing else, it's worth it just to be able to participate in the wacky leagues with Miles and company. So I guess the last thing, I know we wanted to talk a little bit about some of the new things coming out. I know we just we're about to jump into PitchCon and we'll let that kind of take off on itself. But we also have a lot of fun things coming out with 6.0 having just come out, and sort of we all have exciting new adventures coming out too with some of the things that launched at 6.0. But what of the new features, what of new things at Pitcher List would you want people to know you've seen or already experienced or that you're really excited about so far?
Yo, our player pages are dope. They're so good. They're so good. It surprised me. And I've seen some mock-ups and I was like, I couldn't stop. I was just nonstop clicking through tables and looking at GIFs. They're so good. I honestly but Pitcher List, I love this website. We do so much fantastic stuff. And I feel like finally, with the player pages, I don't have to go somewhere else to look up stats for players. I don't have to go somewhere else to do analysis on players. Not that there's not other places to go get that information that are fantastic, but we have now a player page that gives me the information that I need to analyze players. We've got an amazing leaderboard. I'm so absolutely stoked for where we're headed. And what the direction that Nick wants to take this. And I think it is absolutely fantastic. And the player pages and the leaderboard are just, one step on that path to really, being a website where you can come to for all of your pitcher needs, not just, Nick's list or the SP roundup, but to do the analysis yourself and to dig into the numbers yourself. I love it.
Well, I feel like we're with the player pages, Miles, you'll appreciate this reference for all you people who watch the challenge out there. I feel like we got to be the team that gets the pick to go last in the challenge. For a challenge. So we're like, we know how to do this now. And that was the fun part about this, was seeing exactly what features we loved that other sites were doing and what is the things that people were asking us for that we kind of got to really perfect it. And I think the development team, and a big shout out to all of them, just crushed it. Just did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
For me, I really enjoy taking all of that and looking at how we sort of present the site as a whole, how it's kind of configured now, so we can make sure that there's the right information coming to at all times. I think it's one of those things that gets overlooked so much with a website, is how it's organized and how it's presented to be easily able to find what you're looking for. And I think I really like the way it's been arranged and the way it allows us to kind of feature certain things. I think it's a really cool thing as well. By the way, the last living member, in the comments I just noticed,
I'm responding. I'm responding right now
good.
in the comments on Twitch. Yeah. I'm on it.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you saw where we can sign up for that. And if you have any questions, you can on Twitter reach out to Miles or myself, and we can give you all the information you need on it. On Twitter, I know I'm at Daniel J. Port. You can also reach out to Miles. It's pretty easy to find on there, and that we can try and help get you involved in any way we can through PL Plus and whatnot. I'm also really looking forward to Dave, Austin. Did you have any things you noticed on the website that you really were excited about, or any of the debuts?
I mean, I'll let Dave talk on the podcast network, but one of the
You got my
kind
segue.
of smaller sections that I feel like people aren't talking about quite enough. You can now have a one-on-one fantasy coach through Pitcher List, through the PL VIP. That's so cool. I don't know. I know I signed up. Did you three also sign up to be a fantasy coach this year?
I did.
I'm more signed up to have a fantasy coach.
I will
We're
only
really selling ourselves on this round table.
I will only coach people in the wacky leagues. If you sign up for a wacky league, I will coach you through that for sure. But yeah, it's really cool actually, and not just that, but also the DFS tier. I mean, there's so many more tools now that are available to our members. That it's really cool that we're able to have this website where we have all this amazing content and still have more for people who want to be a part of that. So it is definitely a really cool feature. Great shout out there, Bristow.
Absolutely. And to go back to what Bristow said, the podcast network, we have so many podcasts now. Going back even just a couple years, we had only On the Corner, and then we developed On the Barrel, On the Farm, On the List, about hitters, prospects, and our staff members respectively. And we are revitalizing On the List this year and adding so many new podcasts. I think each of us is on one now, right?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much content that I know last year we were so focused on the baseball pods bracket. We might need to have our own just Pitcher List podcast bracket, because there's so much content at this point. And it's really so broad that if you're interested in anything having to do with baseball, not just fantasy baseball, but baseball, we have a podcast for you. And if we don't, tell us, because we'll make a podcast for that. There's so many great staffers who have so much passion and knowledge to share that I urge you all to check out the podcast network and everything that's coming your way. Really, all of them deserve a listen.
I was scrolling through Twitter this morning and I saw that Yancey is right there, ready to do his Tampa Bay Rays only podcast.
Hill, yeah, Rays. I love it.
Oh, so good. And I think that one of the great things about the podcast network, as you mentioned, Dave, and if you really want to get a good overview of it, the best place you can get a good overview of everything that's out there, you go to I believe it is, I'll get the exact, it's at Pitcher List Pods on Twitter. Has the whole network. That's sort of like the central Twitter for those podcasts. And if nothing else, you can kind of click on the cover thing, and it's got all of them displayed there, and it's just really something to kind of take in and behold. And it goes into what we were talking about a little bit with this with PitchCon as well, that there's something for whatever way you want to experience baseball, whatever thing in baseball you are interested in or passionate about. We probably have a podcast that covers it. We have historical podcasts. We have ones that are going to talk big picture. We have ones that are going to talk small picture. We have fantasy. We have, debate podcasts. We have all sorts of different things that are going on that are just, it's wild to say. I think we get the joy of experiencing one of the more diverse sports in the world in terms of how you experience it and what we can talk about. And I think you see that with this podcast network, and it's all going to keep growing. So definitely check that out. I don't know if any of you want to talk about your specific podcasts or what you're kind of working on right now. If we want to start there, Miles.
Sure, I'll shamelessly plug my podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so it's called Pitchers Duel. It is a debate podcast, as Daniel kind of alluded to there. Basically, the concept of it, I like to call it's like First Take, but instead of yelling at each other, we sit down and have very reasonable discussion backed up with facts and objective truth and stuff like that. So we're just kind of looking at so for example, a few of the episodes that are already out. Mary Ankenbrook and Ben Brown debated over Fenway or Wrigley as the premier historic baseball stadium. Which one is the better one? Which one do you have to go visit if you're only going to one? Brandon Riddle and Adam Sloat debated over whether the National League should have a designated hitter permanently or if it should just be the 1 year thing and then we can all forget about it for the rest of eternity. And we have one actually featuring one of the people on this panel coming out this Friday. So without, spoiling too much stuff, absolutely. We've got another one coming out Friday. Every Friday we'll have episodes. And if you have any topics that you want us to settle, because we will, every episode, we settle the topic. We determine who the winner is, who is right. If you have a topic you want us to settle, like, I don't know, have a catch versus play catch, we will do that on our podcast. Which I don't think we'll ever do that one because I don't think we can ever actually settle that one. The Discord will never agree. But absolutely, we will settle every topic
by having that debate. We're trying to end some friendships with that debate.
Right, exactly.
Can I come on?
Good game of Risk ends friendships.
I know you said that it's meant to be objective facts and a nice conversation, but can I come on and just yell?
Yeah, well, maybe we'll have a podcast. We'll have a show whether reasonable discussion or yelling is the better way to go for debate shows, and you can be the yeller.
There. Absolutely.
I can't imagine the like soft-spoken, dulcet tones of Austin Bristow yelling.
Hey, save it for the podcast, Austin. You got to hold it in you.
For the record, just while we're here. Since we're here, might as well put you all on blast. Where do we all stand on have a catch, play catch?
Play catch. It's not even a question.
Dave,
it's not. There's
Come on,
no.
Dave,
There's
you gotta tell us.
Ben Palmer will disagree. There's no rules to it. He says the rule is catch it and throw it back. That's not enough. It's not a game. You don't play. You just go out and you do it. You don't.
For me, sorry, go ahead, Austin. Where do you stand on this?
But at the end of the day, whatever makes you happy. I don't think I'm gonna hate anyone for saying play catch. Personally, I have my opinion, but I don't understand the vitriol surrounding it.
If you ever want to watch the world burn,
right? You legally disagree with me.
It comes out about once a week in the Discord. So,
Dave,
Austin, where do you stand on this essential question?
If you had ever played catch with my father, who
I wouldn't have had a catch with your father.
Well, you see, he throws in some random knuckleballs that are unnecessarily good, and so at that point, you are playing catch. Let me tell you. And so, I am very much a play catch versus have a catch.
I joke. I have the ultimate cop out answer in that hey, have a catch seems so British. Oh yes, let's go out and have a catch. But we didn't ever it's such a weird thing. Everyone always asks me, I'm we didn't ever say that. And so I'm from the Midwest and therefore I live off of idioms and weird sayings. And all we ever said was throw the ball around or things like that. No one ever just said let's play catch.
I'm just picturing now the Great British Have a Catch. I think that's what we need on Netflix. Give me the Great British.
Are we all just judges and we watch people play catch and judge them? Is this how this works?
I don't care. Just give me Paul and Prue and Sandy and the Great British Have a Catch, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
I'm in for it. Dave, tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so I introduced it a little bit at the beginning. It's the Across the Seams podcast. So we talk about some of higher level baseball topics. For example, we recorded a sample episode with Nick talking about logos on jerseys, what the future of that could look like. Potential revenue streams for the league. Potential rebranding or renaming of divisions in order to generate additional revenue. How do we feel about that? Looking at examples from different sports and what the future of baseball could look like as they try and generate additional income, and how can we tailor the game towards younger generations. Looking at I think we're going to have several episodes throughout this year looking at the labor dispute leading up to the end of the CBA after this season. What will it take to have baseball in 2022? Because it's a real question, I think, at this point, of whether we will have a full season in 2022 just because of labor. So expect a lot of episodes about that, and we should start recording in March. So be on the lookout for that.
That sounds fantastic, and I think that there's such an interesting thing about, since we do so much fantasy work, since we do a lot of, here's what's going on in baseball, we tend to do a lot of small picture stuff, the day to day. And it's cool to get something, and I think really important that we get something that's looking big picture too, right? And talking about some of the things that we don't quite understand, because I think there's a lot of narratives out there that frankly don't get talked about enough, like the CBA or things like that. That then when they come up in our news, we're all kind of scrambling to figure out what the heck is going on. And so I think to have something that gives us that big picture look and looks at some of the things we don't necessarily always talk about is really important. So I think it's a cool thing. Now, Austin, how about you?
We'll definitely have to have you on, Daniel.
I would love to. That would be awesome. I'd be honored. Austin, what do you got going on?
My podcast is not new, but it is revamped and back in full force. I'm the host of On the List, where I bring on different staff members from the Pitch List staff, where we basically just get to know the people behind the tagline. I bring them on. We talk about their favorite players, some of their favorite baseball memories, what kind of stuff they do outside of the baseball realm, and talk a bit about what they've been working on recently, or whatever else we want to talk about. Movies and TV comes up a lot. Dungeons and Dragons comes up quite often, but not as often as it should. And at the end of it, we have a mailbag session where we answer your questions. So the day of recording, I always hop into the Discord and say, hey guys, here's who I've got this week. What kind of questions do you have for them? And they can be whatever you want to ask. It doesn't have to be baseball related. It can just be like, what did you have for lunch today? Or, hey, Shelly, how can I also bake delicious cakes?
Oh, God.
I think it's really fun.
One of the best parts of the Discord is not only Shelly's 2 dogs,
yes,
but the incredible things that she bakes and posts in the food channel. It's incredible. Like, she's
so
a CA by trade, but could be a professional baker.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's one of those things that, like, I feel like I don't even have like one talent, and she's got 2, if not more, and it makes me really mad. But she's awesome and so good at it, and it makes me so hungry. We do have a food channel, and
we have
Copperhead, and it is so good.
My favorite parts of the Discord are the non-baseball parts. We have a whole section of off-topic channels to talk about movies, to talk about TV, to talk about music. Dungeons and Dragons channel. We have a food channel. Those are my favorite parts of the Discord, because then I don't have to come out and be like, well, let's talk about how we can find who is going to steal more bases based on if they actually want to.
I hope this is, you've done this voice multiple times now when talking about stolen bases. I hope this is the voice you do for your entire presentation. That is the new stolen base voice.
11 o'clock rolls around tomorrow. Hello, everyone. My name is Austin. Welcome to Spot.
I don't know if you all know if you all caught this back when we did it, and hopefully we'll bring it back soon once our lives get back into a rhythm. Austin was part of it. We did Pitchless Plays D&D special for about 6 or 7 weeks with myself, Austin, Nick, and John Metzelar, and it was hilarious because Austin died in the middle of the campaign and had to create a second character. But he creates voices for all of his characters and gets really into character, and it's amazing. It's
my first character died to bears. Just multiple bears just mauled my cleric. So then I had to come in next session with a new paladin based off of Aaron Judge.
Was your initial character based on the 2016 Cleveland baseball team?
No.
Brutal.
You gotta go there, don't you? Killing me.
It was originally based on Tyler Glasnow. He was a cleric named Glass, and he talked like this, and it was fantastic.
Rogue. Before we run out of time, though, you also have a podcast. You've let all of us plug ours shamelessly. It's your turn, buddy.
What's your job? I gotta get you out there. So I'm actually doing a podcast called Command the Zone with Mary Ankerbrook and Callan Elsler, and it's kind of an interesting approach. You don't see a lot of necessarily like three person sort of almost like it's almost constantly a panel, and that's kind of what we were going for. Is we're going to bring on guests, and the first half of the podcast usually we'll talk about the news, like what's going on right now. We're breaking down that is you, Callan. That is breaking down sort of like right now we're doing all the signings, the specific signings that we're going by division, right? And just going through what signings happened, kind of catching everyone up on the offseason, kind of giving our takes on them. And then we do something fun in the middle. The first episode, which dropped on Wednesday, we did normal will come out on Fridays. We did our baseball hot takes in case you want to know our feelings on the wave or the extra inning rules. And then we also debated our best like food hot takes. We found Mary doesn't like sandwiches. I love corn dogs. Callan hates bananas, that kind of thing. So come check it out. That's really fun. And then what we do is we end the podcast with a big sort of roundtable style discussion on one larger topic. For the first episode, we did like mental health in baseball right after, everything came out with Andrelton Simmons and, how we deal with that. And then I think for episode 2, we're going to do kind of talking big picture about all the trades that have happened in this kind of wild and wacky off season, how that affects you as a fan, which ones did we like, which ones didn't we like, that kind of thing. And then eventually we're going to start bringing on guests, so we have 4 5-person panels talking about these big subjects, because the thought process being that like the more smart, brilliant minds you can put in a room, and we all are, they can make up for me not being one, but that we can put the more brilliant minds we can put up in the room, the better, the more ideas we get, the more discussion we get. And we think that that's really important. So that's kind of what we're going for there with our podcast as well. And that'll come out every Friday.
I need to go back to something you said before you started getting all serious. You said something about the wave. Their hot takes. What are hot takes on the wave? The wave is fantastic.
Some people don't like the wave. I don't understand. Yeah.
And there's no reason why anyone feels differently.
And that's what Callan was talking about. Yeah, some people just don't like the wave. And Callan's like, that's great. Why don't you love the wave? So
I think you need to bring
struck by the fact that
Miles.
100%. If there's a debate to be had about the wave, we're going to have it. I just didn't know there needed to be one.
Well,
I was struck by the fact that Mary doesn't like sandwiches. How do you not like sandwiches? There are so many.
You're going to have to listen to the episode. You're going to have to listen to the episode.
I'm going to listen, and I'm going to put her on blast for that one. Sandwiches are great.
All right.
What's happening, guys?
I don't know, Nick. What is
really
happening?
Quickly, I understand why
Are
the
we in
wave
trouble?
could be kind of, I don't know, it's distracting. You want to focus on the game. And then all of a sudden, they're doing the wave, and it's a 2-1 game with the bases loaded in the 7th inning. It's like, come on, like, the game. It's
that's the heart and soul of the game right there.
Yeah.
We kick him back out.
And it's like one of those games where it's just, you do not care. Do the wave.
Can we get him back out of here?
It's fun.
Yes,
Okay.
Christopher Reeves. Nick Pollock hates fun. I've been trying to share this message for years.
You
He
can get
doesn't
that
like
shirt
fun.
at pitchers.com/store. Nick Pollock hates fun. Come in later
Oh my
this
gosh,
spring.
we need that shirt, Justin. We need that shirt.
Gosh, yes. I'd wear it every day.
Oh man, you guys are fantastic. Really,